Do you like free TV?
Oh, I love this idea.
Check out Titan TV's Video on Demand. You can find the latest shows and classic content.
I should check it.
Everything is made and produced by students. Take a look at titan-tv.org.
What we're doing is working to stay with it, even though it is a grind and even though it is difficult, we have to stay with it. We have to stay with it operationally on our hospital system, where we're coordinating statewide in what we call the surge and flex system.
Cuomo says the state is seeing a dramatic decline in the rate of hospitalizations. The death toll from the coronavirus in New York stands at nearly 8,000.
I'm Andrew Hansen, broadcasting from my home in Lakeland, Minnesota. The date is April 10th, 2020, and this is the first edition of Titan TV News Online.
From the Titan TV studios on the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh campus, this is Titan TV News. Bringing you the stories that matter to you. From the campus, the community, and beyond. Student-made, student-produced. This is Titan TV News, live at 4.
As of yesterday, COVID-19 deaths have reached a total of 111 in Wisconsin, according to the Wisconsin Department of Health Services. Confirmed cases of the virus are over 2,500, 29% of which have required hospitalization. Yesterday, Governor Tony Evers issued an emergency order that gave extra funding to fire departments, prioritized construction for healthcare structures, and extended exam deadlines for public accountant candidates. The Evers administration also urged all Wisconsin workers who lost their employer-based health care to apply for BadgerCare or healthcare.gov. Loss of insurance may trigger an enrollment period that allows people to apply for insurance coverage during the pandemic. The Wisconsin Hospital Association Information Center has created a COVID-19 data dashboard to help policymakers better understand the impact of the virus. You can view the dashboard by visiting the link shown on screen now. Wisconsin currently has a B according to the Unicast Coronavirus Scoreboard when graded on proper social distancing. According to research by the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation, Wisconsin will see the COVID-19 peak in the state around mid-May. The institute projects that there will be 13 deaths in the state on May 14th and over 1,300 patients hospitalized by May 22nd. The institute also said that these numbers are assuming proper social distancing practices and other protective measures are maintained. Wisconsin held in-person voting this past Tuesday despite Tony Evers' stay-at-home order. On Monday, Wisconsin State Supreme Court struck down an order by Evers to postpone the election until June 9th amid the pandemic. Following this decision, Democrats aim to defend a lower court decision in the United States Supreme Court that would allot 5 extra days for absentee ballots to be mailed in. In a case titled Republican National Convention versus Democratic National Convention, the court reversed the ruling and required absentee ballots in Wisconsin to be postmarked April 7th in order to be considered. All 5 of the court's Republicans voted in favor of the Republican Party's position, and while all 4 of the court's Democrats voted in favor of the Democratic Party's position. According to the City of Madison's official Twitter, 80,000 people in the state capital of Madison decided to come out and vote. Milwaukee, meanwhile, faced extraordinarily long lines due to only 5 of the usual 180 polling places being open. Many voters claim the reason they chose to vote in person was because they never received their absentee ballots. As of now, the state is unsure who is to blame for these reports. The Oshkosh Area School District is giving out free meals all week for anyone in the community. While there won't be any distribution spots, the school district has a grab-and-go setup that ensures as little face-to-face contact as possible. The school district says they've given out over 22,000 meals so far. School still gets federal funding to feed students, but feeding everyone else comes at a price. The Oshkosh Area School District is asking for donations to help keep the meals going. The coronavirus pandemic has left workers in a state of disarray as steps to slow the spread of the virus have led to mass layoffs and a spike in unemployment applications in Wisconsin. As schools switch to remote learning, non-essential businesses close and dine-in services and mass gatherings are banned, unemployment claims in the state continue to mount. According to preliminary reports from the Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development, there have been over 300,000 unemployment claims filed in the state since March 15th. For comparison, the DWD says that there were only about 20,000 unemployment claims filed over that same period last year. Now, Peter Abraham and Jack Olson tell us a little bit about how business at their restaurant, the Ruby Owl, has been in the weeks following the outbreak.
Yeah, it's hurt pretty good. We've been having a full restaurant, busiest we've ever been for, ever before this all happened, to going down to just being able to do pickups and deliveries. It made quite a difference, but we've been here in our sister restaurant Gardina's that have been doing well, and we're okay for, the long term, but it definitely hurts business.
I mean, besides general restaurant regulations, there's no, as far as the keeping things clean, restaurants have always had to keep that level of cleanliness to begin with. Now it's just there's an extra gravity behind making sure it stays that clean. I mean, we all still wear gloves. We need to. Keep everything just spotless as possible. Keep interactions to a minimal. Make sure all the door handles continuously get wiped down. Just extra little bits of here and there.
When we come back, we have more local news. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Lexi, and I'm passionate about doing chemistry in a lab setting.
I'm Brandon Fuller, and I'm passionate about sports broadcasting.
Hi, my name is Caitlin, and I'm passionate about helping people. Whatever your passion is, it starts here, UWO, where you come first.
Ah yes, the woodland stream. Almost nothing matches its majesty and splendor. The water is always changing, always flowing, like shows or programming from a TV station. Titan TV, now streaming on Roku and Apple TV. Download the Cablecast Screenweave app.
Welcome back. For our next story, local homeless shelters are struggling to meet the needs of their guests who are dealing with increased instability now that the public spaces have been closed due to the coronavirus pandemic. In an open letter to the community, the homeless of Oshkosh said they lack shelter during the day and that they aren't sure how much longer they can last. The day-by-day warming shelter on High Avenue had to suspend all volunteers from coming into the shelter to reduce the risk of someone bringing in the virus into the facility. Even with the limited staff, an executive director, Matt Johnson, says the day-by-day warming shelter continues to serve the homeless population as best it can, giving shelter from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. every day. Oshkosh Mayor Lori Palmieri says the city had conversations with the warming shelter in recent weeks, giving it permission to stay open beyond its normal closing date of April 15th. Johnson says he'd like to keep the shelter open past April 15th, but at this point, he doesn't have enough staff. For the rest of tonight's stories, we're going to take it over to Andrew Hayes.
Thanks, Andrew. The Wisconsin Bankers Association is warning businesses to beware of scammers targeting applicants to the Small Business Administration Paycheck Protection Program, known as the PPP. WBA President and CEO Rose Oswald-Powell said, business owners should work directly with their bank to avoid falling victim to online businesses claiming to give them PPP loans. The Paycheck Protection Program is a loan that is designed to provide an incentive for small businesses to keep their workers on the payroll during coronavirus-caused closures or hour reductions. The program is intended for small businesses with less than 500 employees that were affected by COVID-19. Access to a Paycheck Protection Program loan is available if one applies through federally insured financial institutions. Local homeless shelters are struggling to meet the needs of their guests who are dealing with increased instability now that public spaces have been closed due to the coronavirus pandemic. In an open letter to the community, the homeless of Oshkosh said they lack shelter during the day and that they aren't sure how much longer they can last. The day-by-day warming shelter on High Avenue had to suspend all volunteers from coming into the shelter to reduce the risk of someone bringing the virus into the facility. Even with limited staff, Executive Director Matt Johnson says the day-by-day warming shelter continues to serve the homeless population as best it can, giving shelter from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. each day. Oshkosh Mayor Lori Palmieri says the city has had conversations with the warming shelter in recent weeks, giving it permission to stay open beyond its normal closing date of April 15th. Johnson says he'd like to keep the shelter open past April 15th, but at this point, he does not have enough staff. And in sports news this week, Major League Baseball and MLB Players Association are in talks about how to play as many games of the 2020 season as possible. The most recent talks have been centered around possibly playing in Arizona. There are multiple spring training fields around Phoenix, as a few college fields as well as Chase Field, the home of the Arizona Diamondbacks. MLB has said that nothing has been confirmed or planned, and that Arizona is just one of many possibilities discussed. And that's all we have for this week's news update. When we come back, Peter is here with the first episode of Comfy Kitchen. I'm Andrew Hayes for Titan TV News, reporting in Oshkosh.
Hi, I'm Lexi, and I'm passionate about doing chemistry in a lab setting.
I'm Brandon Fuller, and I'm passionate about sports broadcasting.
Hi, my name is Caitlin, and I'm passionate about helping people.
Whatever your passion is, it starts here, UWO, where you come first.
Stories are something that you watch, something that you enjoy hearing, something that you can imagine. And as radio, TV, film students, stories are something we express, something we tell. They are something we create. Because in the end, we are the storytellers.
Welcome to the Comfy Kitchen, where we make comfort food from my comfy kitchen. My name is Pete, and today we are making a Mississippi pot roast. It's a nice, easy, slow cooking recipe that if you're just getting into slow cooking and crock pots would be very easy to do for you. It's also an internet favorite, so let's get into it. What makes this recipe so simple and such a favorite is how few ingredients are actually involved in the roast. The first thing you need, obviously, is going to be a 3-pound roast. I am using pork today. This is also commonly done with a chuck roast from the grocery store. So that you need a jar of pepperoncinis, a stick of unsalted butter, a packet of ranch dressing mix, and then your choice here of either au jus gravy mix or dried onion soup mix to add to it. And of course, a crock pot big enough to hold the entire roast and the ingredients. So once you're ready, what I like to do is brown the meat. What you want to do is put on an extremely hot skillet and you're just searing the outside ends with some salt and pepper to get a nice golden brown. Not actually trying to cook any of the meat inside. Once that is seared, pull it off to rest and then get ready to assemble the roast. Take your roast, place it into the center of the crock pot so it cooks evenly, and then grab your pepperoncinis. I like to use a little more pepperoni, so I'm using 7 here. Otherwise, people have done it with fewer as well if you do not like that flavor as much. But feel free to put them on and around the roast inside the crock pot, so a lot of the juices and sauce at the end will also pick up the flavor. If you do not like whole pepperoncinis, feel free to buy already sliced pepperoncinis so they mix into the pork or beef a lot more smoothly. Once you're finished with that, cap it back up and then grab your ranch dressing season packet. Now, ranch has always been an odd choice for this, but it tastes delicious. Apply it liberally to the roast and make sure you cover all of it. And don't be afraid about spilling it into the bottom of the crock pot because that'll get counted into the juice later. And just a little bit more. And then I am choosing to use the dried onion soup mix today because of the pork. Once again, just take the entire packet and liberally apply it to the entire roast and evenly spread it so the flavors soak into everything. And once you've applied that, go ahead and grab your stick of unsalted butter and add it to the roast. Now, some people only like to do half a stick, but because of the flavors I enjoy, I am adding the full entire stick to the roast itself. Now, once you're done with that, go ahead and get yourself some time. Take your roast, and you're gonna put it on low heat, and you're gonna let it sit for 8 hours in the corner of your kitchen while you go about your business for the day. As you can see, our roast is done now, and it's looking quite magnificent. As we lift the lid up, you can see just the colorations of the roast behind it and how wilted the pepperoncinis have gotten. You can also notice right here that there's a nice amount of juices and sauce that the pork roast has created itself. And you can see just how tender the roast is. Now, some folks like to pull the roast out, let it cool, and then slice it for serving, but me, I just shred it right into the pot. You can shred it with some tongs, a fork, anything you have around, but just once you're done, mix it all up in the juices, and so all those flavors can just really be absorbed into the pork. After letting it sit, go ahead and serve it how you like, on a simple sandwich, on a pretzel bun, or if you want to go more traditional comfort food style, some garlic mashed potatoes, sweet corn, and now pulled pork on the side. Well, thank you for joining me at the Comfy Kitchen. I know I'm going to enjoy my meal, and hopefully you enjoy it at home as well.
lifestyle publication highlighting the area's cuisine, culture, and history. Current information on events and dining in northeastern Wisconsin available at foxcitiesmagazine.com.
90.3 WRST-FM, Oshkosh, the Ideas Network. Listen online anytime at WPR.org.
You're listening to Central Time. I'm Rob Farrett. Coming up, voting by mail has become a hot-button issue in the midst of the pandemic. We'll talk to an expert on voting rights about mail-in voting and other alternatives in the time of the coronavirus. First, jigsaw puzzles are having a big moment around the world.